Okay, guys, my name is Nancy Rouse. You should know that by now. I'm your ACA instructor for ACA 122. What I'm doing today in this video, we are going to very compactly talk about the portfolio project, your final portfolio. This is the single biggest ticket item, if you will. So it's going to carry the heaviest weight of any of the individual activities throughout the entire course. So what we're doing with the portfolio, even though it's very big and very heavy, thankfully for you, it's not going to be tons of work. And here's what I mean by that. Basically, as you have gone throughout the semester and you have collected the different assignments, your baccalaureate degree plan, the introductory activity, the personal part 1, personal part 2, the trial schedule, as you have finished each of these, you've already done the work. Now what you're doing for the portfolio, you're not creating anything new. Okay, all you're doing is going through and printing out those individual assignments, not all of them. Okay, we're going to go through the list in just a second, telling you exactly which ones that you need, but just print those out and compile them in a notebook. Basically, you're taking the most important things from this class that you have done already in the semester, and you're compiling them into a hard copy format. Okay, and we call that a portfolio. And here's why the portfolio is a good idea. All right, I'm going to be looking down at the portfolio instructions, so that's why I'm not making eye contact. Portfolio has many uses in education. According to the Glossary of Educational Reform, a student portfolio is a compilation of academic work and other forms of educational evidence assembled for the purpose of, and there's 4 purposes: 1, evaluating coursework quality, learning progress, and academic achievement; 2, determining whether students have met learning standards or other academic requirements for the courses, the grade level, promotion, and graduation; 3, helping students reflect on their academic goals and progress as learners; and 4, creating a lasting archive of academic work products, accomplishments, and other documentation. Advocates of student portfolios argue that compiling, reviewing, and evaluating student work over time can provide a richer, deeper, and more accurate picture of what students have learned and are able to do than more traditional measures like tests, quizzes, or final exams can actually do, because they are only measuring what you've done or what you've learned in a very specific point in time. A portfolio is much bigger and broader in scope. So in other words, this is taking what you did at the very beginning of the semester, but it's also kind of hitting all these little benchmarks all throughout the semester so you can see your progress. You can see at the beginning of the course, I was like this, and I thought like this, and this was my activity. And there's my cat, who for some reason really loves being in videos that I do for school. Sorry. So you've been collecting documents to include in this portfolio. The specific ones that we've chosen to go in the portfolio, we deem these as the most important for the big picture, for the long term. So like I said, you're not going to print out everything that you've done for the entire course, because that's not necessary. So what we took were the things that would be most important for you to keep with you, to carry with you throughout your academic career. So here are the ones that we want you to do. Your portfolio must be contained in a 3-ring binder. So all those binders like you used all throughout school, get one of those. It doesn't have to be brand new, but feel free. Make sure it's at least 1 inch thick. 1.5 inch would probably be a little bit better, but we're not going to be super picky about that. Graded copies. This is important because for these items, if by chance you did not do well on that assignment, then your instructor will have given you feedback, and that feedback needs to be documented as well, because you don't want to take an assignment where you actually got a 50 because you didn't do at all what you were supposed to do and put that in a portfolio saying, see what I've learned. That's a horrible idea. So that's why it's important to have the graded copies. If you got a 100 and there are no actual corrections or feedback or anything like that, that's fine. And maybe your instructor didn't actually type in any feedback. In that case, go ahead and print out exactly what you submitted, and then you can just handwrite the grade that you received. I'm fine with that. So the notebook, the portfolio, will be due on the date noted in the current course schedule. And I don't specifically tell you what that date is because this video is going to be used for many different semesters and the date's going to be different for each one. So be sure you are looking at that course schedule so you can find out when this is due, especially if it's in an abbreviated course, an 8-week section. It's going to be due a lot sooner than you might expect. It will represent 15% of your grade for this class. It can be submitted early. That's totally fine if everything, all of the assignments have already been returned to you and graded. If they've been graded on Blackboard, then yes, you can go ahead and put those in your portfolio. All right, so here's what you've been waiting for, all of the individual items that are going to be in the portfolio. First, you need your syllabus for this class, the whole thing, okay? Not just the first page, okay, but the whole thing. Here's why. All right, it is a very good habit for you as a college student to get into, to start printing out your syllabi for all classes. Okay, if you can have a copy of all of your syllabi, not necessarily together, but together with everything you need for that course, then you've constantly got a reference. Okay, the syllabus is so important, and you should have already known this because we've gone over this throughout the class in different places. It's very, very important for telling you what to expect and what your instructor or professor expects from you. Okay, so whenever there's a, now what was I supposed to do? I'm just not sure what they want from this. Go back to the syllabus, go back to the course schedule. These things are going to give you the vast majority of the information that you're going to need. So get in the habit of printing those out every single semester. Okay, that's the purpose of this part of the portfolio, is trying to get you into that habit, into that mindset. Okay, so print out, yes, the ACA 122 syllabus for this class, but also whatever other classes you're taking this semester, print out those entire syllabi as well. Number two, the second object, the discovery wheel. This one, be sure that you are putting in, because this one was done online and I had you send me screenshots and answer those questions. So for the part that goes in your portfolio, be sure that it shows the discovery wheel graph. Be sure that you are showing that and the answers to all those questions. Both of those components are super, super important. If you don't have one of those two components in the portfolio, you're going to lose some points. All right, number three, the baccalaureate degree plan introductory activity. I'll go ahead and tell you, everything baccalaureate degree plan, everything BDP, whatever you did, that's going to go in your portfolio. So the introductory activity, the personal part 1, the personal part 2, and the BDP trial schedule. All of those have got to be in your portfolio. Probably the single most important part of the entire portfolio as well. All right, the learning styles assessment results. When we did, I believe it was module 6, and we took the learning styles assessment and by McWhorter and talked about, are you a social learner or independent? I want your results from that. Okay, not just your talking about your learning styles, but I specifically want which type of learner were you. So the response form. I believe one of the pages in the Learning Styles Assessment packet was a response form. That should be completely filled out. That should be printed out and placed in your portfolio. All right, also number 5, the time management and procrastination activity. So when you went through and monitored your time, all of how you spend your time throughout a normal week, that entire assignment, go ahead and print that out, put it in the BDP part 1, BDP part 2, BDP trial schedule. For that one, you don't have to only print out the single part, the single page of the trial schedule. Feel free. You can just print out that part. But if it's easier for you to go ahead and print out that whole BDP trial schedule assignment, meeting with your advisor, go ahead and do that. Not a problem at all. Okay, also from that same assignment or from that same module, you were supposed to go into WebAdvisor and print out your program evaluation, okay, or we call it an eval. that needs to be printed out and placed in your portfolio. Again, super, super important component. Also, and I believe this was in the same module as well, the GPA calculation activity. So when you went through and put in all of your classes and the, you know, calculated what your GPA is, both this semester and up until this point comprehensively, that needs to be printed out and put in as well. Also, your resume. Be sure that all of these are submitted. Now, there's two different ways that you can submit this assignment. The first one would probably be easiest for you, but it ends up being more of a headache for us. But that's fine. Just expect to get some emails if there's any type of technology problems that make it where we cannot view your portfolio. Okay, so create a single video in which you flip through the pages of your portfolio. Remember, I don't want a list of, not a list, I don't want an attachment of digital files. That's absolutely defeating the purpose. What I want is to see that you have physically printed all of these digital files and put them in your hard copy 3-ring binder. That's what I want. That's what we're looking for. So if you only attach digital files, you already did that via Blackboard. It's not like I want access to these. I already have access to these. I want to make sure that you have printed these out and compiled them. Okay, so you will be flipping through, physically flipping through your portfolio. You're going to open it up. You're going to let me see the page. You're going to take enough time that I can see every single page and I can read which assignment am I looking at here. If I can't read it, you're not going to get credit for having it. That's just how it is. And attach that video to the assignment page in Module 14 on Blackboard. So when you go in to attach it, that's where you're going to put the video. Instead of attaching a digital file like a Word document, this time you're going to attach the video. And again, MP4 should be fine as far as file type. If I have any trouble at all, I will contact you via email. So be sure you are checking your email regularly, because historically in the past there have been quite a few issues with the digital submission. Here's what I prefer, just because it's so much easier. Place the printed, graded copies of all your items in a 3-ring binder, which you bring to me. Now, I definitely like this one better for my face-to-face or hybrid classes, but if you are an online student, I'm still fine with you bringing your hard copy portfolio to campus, and then I'll look through it physically, grade it, and get it back to you. But that means you have to come pick it up. So you can pick it up at my office, you can pick it up in L building, you can pick it up in the ASC, specifically on Caswell campus. That tends to be the easiest place for that. So we'll work out the best way for me to get that back to you. And this is important. Be sure your binder is clearly labeled with your name. I'm not going to do a scavenger hunt to try to figure out whose portfolio this is. Since the purpose of the portfolio is to provide you with physical hard copy documentation, if you do not come pick it back up, you get 10 points knocked off of your portfolio score. And remember, this is 15% of your grade. So it's very important that you get this done, you do it well, do it exactly like we're asking, and then you're going to get a really easy grade on this for a very big chunk of your ACA 122 grade. Okay, so hopefully that short video just kind of helped clarify what we're doing, why we're doing it. You know, why are we doing this big project? Well, this is why. So hopefully that helps. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me or your instructor if you have a different instructor for ACA 122 this semester. Okay, good luck.